This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Follow the Money is brought to you by ProfitX, where new users can earn a sign-up bonus up to $100 in bonus cash. Download ProfitX and use the code VSiNMM to get started. We're live in Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Here, Final Four weekend coming up. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. Absolute pleasure as longtime Davidson head coach Bob McKillop joins us for one more segment here. And we talked a lot about the crown in the previous segment. We'll get to the Final Four. Obviously, we have to ask you about Steph Curry. Reports came out today that he is going to come back on Sunday and give it a go. He missed 27 games. How often are you still talking to Steph?
I would guess every 6 weeks or so. I saw him last Thursday night when they had a magnificent celebration for Del Curry. His number was retired by the Charlotte Hornets. He's a legend in Charlotte because of what he's done, not just on a basketball court, but in the community. And so I had a chance to be with Steph last Thursday, and the deep bone bruise that he's experiencing right now has progressed to the point that he'll be back, I think, this weekend.
He was so phenomenal to watch in college. Did you ever think in your wildest dreams he would turn out like he did?
The biggest hesitation, I knew he was going to be great. The biggest hesitation was the 81-game schedule and the size of every opponent that was going to try to beat him up. Could he sustain that? And he's responded to that, obviously, with his performance, but he's also responded to it by the way he has prepared himself. And you had mentioned earlier about the way he had a shoot 200 out of 240. He can make 200 out of 240. What he does is he practices with great imagination. And that's lost in our game today. All kids, they have a trainer that works them out. They dribble against cones. Stephen Curry has an imagination that he sees who's guarding him when he goes through his workout. And that 240 shots, he is dripping wet after that experience. He fully engages in an hour, 40 minutes, however long the engagement is. He's fully there. Game speed for everything. And I believe, so he's creating this habit, this instinct that then just translates itself to the performance on the court.
Yeah, you'll hear Steph here. This is not to pat my own back, but I had a chance to talk to him once in my life and interview him. This goes back more than a decade. But I think it just tells you the greatness of him and how good he is overall as a shooter. And it was the day that he actually, this video went viral of him making 85 three-pointers in 100 attempts, and he came on and I talked to him about that. And then we got into just overall like how many attempts it would take to make 200.
If you're practicing in a gym by yourself, how many attempts does it take you to make 200 threes?
Let's see, about 240. So I did that. I did actually do that today after practice. I made 85 out of 100. So I just did a quick multiplication. Yeah, so about 240 shots. I knocked down 200.
You made 85 out of 100. That is okay. When it's game time, Steph, how do you know when you got it going? It's like a heat check time for you. Can you tell immediately?
You can tell immediately, but once you see two in a row fall down, and then you take heat checks usually entail some forced shot or something that's kind of out of the flow of the offense. And once you knock that down, you know it's kind of game over from there because the rim looks like the ocean. And, you know, as long as you get a good look off and it doesn't get blocked, you know it's going in.
Pretty impressive. It's game over from there. It looks like the ocean when you're going to throw it in. I have him all-time starting five as my point guard. Pauly and I disagree. He has Magic Johnson. You're his former coach. What do you say?
You know, he has changed the game so much, and because of that, I think he has to go down in the annals as being one of the greatest point guards ever. And he has changed the game, yes, because he's made three-pointers at an extraordinary level, but he shoots 90% from the foul line, and he shoots 70% on teardrops and layups. This guy has a complete game. But how many kids today can mimic him or try to mimic him? They see a average-sized human being who doesn't go up and dunk anything, but he plays the game with his shot and with his ball handling and with his vision. So I think he fits into that top 5 in that category. What no one talks about are what I think are his 2 greatest strengths. He has fast twitch eye muscles and fast twitch ear muscles. He sees not just where the ball is, but where it's going to be. He sees not just where the defender is, but where it's going to be. He sees the rim in a momentary look. And those fast twitch prepares him so well. And I say he has fast twitch ear muscles because he can live in the present tense by listening incredibly well, but still with his eyes be into the next future part of the action. And those are incredible gifts to have. And I think a great quarterback has those fast twitch eye muscles, like a Brady, like a Montana. I mean, those guys they could look off one guy and then look and see another guy. They were incredible how they could pick that out. Steph does that on the basketball court.
Oh, phenomenal answer. And the greatest shooter of all time, no doubt how he changed the game. Did the Minnesota Timberwolves reach out to you before the draft?
Yes, they did. And we were just amazed that they took 3 point guards before Steph Curry. Ricky Rubio, Johnny Flynn, and who was the third guy? I'm not sure who it was, but holy Christmas.
Yes. Holy Christmas is right.
Yeah.
You blew it.
And we thought he was going to go to the Knicks.
Man.
There's a legendary Nick coach named Dick McGuire. No relation to Al McGuire. No relation to Frank McGuire, but the brother of Al McGuire. And Dick came to our practice. He was scouting at the time when Steph was a freshman, and told me afterward he's going to be one of the top draft picks.
Well, he was right with that. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Longtime Davidson head coach. Obviously, he was there with Steph Curry, Bob McKillop, or Steph Curry was there with him, I should say. Right now with us on the program, the Crown is in town. How about the Final Four? I like the way they do this, by the way. The Crown plays the games in the morning and then early afternoon, right before they get the taste buds going for you, right? Little appetizer, and then you get the Final Four. All this talk about, people, and we're a betting network, so it's all people like, well, I can't bet against Dan Hurley because he doesn't lose in these spots, right? They're 1.5 point dog to Illinois. Who do you see winning this game?
I think the memory bank for Connecticut is going to pay dividends for them. They've come back from a significant deficit when they recovered against Duke, and they had been smacked by a significant deficit against St. John's. They've got 2 championships in their back pocket. Danny has certainly resurrected those memories, and memory banks are big at this point. You have to know you've been there before. And when your leader is a guy that wears the program on his heart, Alex Caravan, that is another piece of inspiration that's going to carry them forward. So I would pick UConn over Illinois.
Coach, how will you slow down Reed? How would you defend him?
I don't think anyone's been able to do it. And I would say Danny would answer it this way. The only one that slows him down is himself. That would be my guess what Danny might say. He's got great footwork. Obviously, he's worked very hard at it. And he's been motivated quite a bit by Danny and his staff.
How about Michigan, Arizona?
Wow, that's a great one. Again, you go back to the memory and Michigan dominating people throughout the season. And now they had a share of close games as the season wound up, which they had not experienced up until maybe the last 2-3 weeks of the season. So I think they have that in their memory bank. Arizona's got 2 rookies, 2 freshmen that are going to try to be a big part of it, but they're so deep. And, I'm going to take a gamble and say Arizona.
Okay.
Arizona.
All right.
So, okay, go ahead, Paul.
Lloyd Stain, what would you do if you're North Carolina? Who would you call?
Billy Donovan.
Okay, I agree with
Number 1 guy, huh?
Yeah.
What if he says no?
I'm not sure they can get Dusty May from Michigan. Obviously, Tommy turned down it today. I don't know. Bill Belichick? Why would you leave Michigan for North Carolina? And I have the
You don't have to.
I have the greatest respect for North Carolina. Sure. Similarly, why would Tommy leave Arizona for North Carolina?
I'm with you.
Something's happened in the landscape of college athletics, and that is that the Blue Bloods, with the exception, I'd say, of a Duke and maybe a UConn, they've got a culture there that's been continued. And I think John Shire's done a magnificent job of continuing the legacy that was left here by Mike. To have that kind of culture and that legacy, I think, is rare in college athletics because of the NIL. Mm-hmm. You see Kansas. You know, they've had a turnover, so there's nobody waking up in the morning saying they want to be a Jayhawk. Maybe they eventually become a Jayhawk, but I don't think you have that same kind of culture that you have at a Duke or, I think, UConn.
Okay. Great to meet you, Coach.
Thank you, Pauly.
Good luck Saturday.
Thanks, Mitch.
We're brought to you by Profit X. If you're not on Profit X, Masters Week, the perfect time to start. New users get a sign-up bonus up to $100 in bonus cash just for getting started. The code is VSiNMM. During the Masters, make one play of $50 or more on any market, win or lose. You're entered to win a $1,000 golf prize of your choice, a club, a round of golf, or a gift card. Win or lose, you're still in the running. Download the app today, Profit X code VSiNMM. Make your first purchase, earn that bonus. Get in on the action at Augusta. Profit X code VSiNMM. Get it now.
Have you had a good bite to eat so far in town?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
Ferraro's.
Ferraro's,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Twice?
Twice.
Yeah, it's excellent.
You've been in town for how long?
Since Tuesday.
That's pretty good. Pretty good hit rate right there. Great to meet you. That was awesome. Thanks for the time.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the games.
Thanks, Mitch.
There you
Thanks,
go.
Pauly.
Longtime Davidson head coach Bob McKillop with us here. Up next, we'll dive into tonight's NBA card. Pauly likes the idea of this tanking parlay yet again. He'll explain why coming up next.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Great stuff there. Bob McKillop, longtime Davidson head coach. And right now, by the way, Major League Baseball, Connor Griffin making his debut for the Pirates. RBI, double the way it looks, and the Pirates lead Baltimore 4-0 as they play top of the fourth. By the way, that Phillies game in Coors that I liked in the first hour, gave out first 5 and the game. The Phillies got 7 in the first. They have 12 hits already. It's 9-0 Phillies top of the fourth. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm right.
Lorenzen's line, 3 innings, 12 hits, 9 earned, 2 home runs.
Piece of cake. Same game parlay. Harper, Judge, Ohtani to go deep.
Yeah,
Mash it.
Harper, unbelievable numbers at Coors, did it today. Marsh with a 3-run ding-dong. Okay, good. I like that. That's a good result. You're going to go to war with the NBA parlay tonight, the tanking parlay?
Yep, got to do it. It's
You don't have to.
Yes,
Lost
I do.
the other night.
No, you have to do it. It's plus $1.10. Glutton for punishment. Plus $1.10 if you put the Magic on there, and they're off a 30-point loss. It's risky business. But Dallas, so many guys are out, and they've lost 13 in a row at home. The comeback is, do they really want to end the season like that? They probably beat the Bulls on the final day of the season at home. But it's a historic day where you have the highest combined spread, or highest average spread for a 6-game slate, which is 12.5. And we're 5 games where the spread's at least 15.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that tank parlay. If you throw the tragic on there, it's about even money.
Is it really that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It's 7 legs, though, right, officially?
Yeah. Hornets are 15.5. The Knicks are 14. The Hawks are 17. The Rockets are 17.5. The Celtics are 17.5. Here come the Raptors. They're up to 14, and they got us the other day. But the Raptors are 14 in Memphis. And then if you throw the Magic, we're 6.5. There you go.
Follow the Money is brought to you by Profit X, where new users can earn a sign-up bonus up to $100 in bonus cash. Download Profit X and use the code VSiNMM to get started today. Yeah, you're right. I mean, David Purdum's tweeting about this. I know JVT and Femi were talking about it. 5 games overall. I hasn't happened 35 years. I asked them off the air because they were going off about, you always get, the Dodgers, $3 favorites all the time. Week 18 of the National Football League. But this has also been going on in the NBA now for 3 months. Not every night, but you're going to get most nights where you're going to have 2, 3, 4, up to 5 teams laying 12, 13, 14 points. Imagine if we had an NFL Sunday, not in week 18. Let's say it's week 13, week 8, week 16, and you got 5, 6, 7 games where the point spread is above 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Again, it's an easy fix. And the thing that's troubling for Adam Silver is a lot of people start paying attention once football's over. And then football ends and you got 9 teams tanking.
Yeah.
And night in, night out, you see these point spreads. So you can set the lottery early. You can reward teams that have competitive games. You can reward teams for actually winning games and improving their odds that way if you want to do it. To me, it's an easy fix, and they made it more complicated with what they did last week. But, we got a week of this left. It still doesn't mean it's free money. Toronto somehow lost at home to the Kings. I will point out the one game where it's no tanking, or it doesn't fit, rather, would be the Pelicans, who are up to 6 against the Kings. Pelicans on a back-to-back. But during the stretch where all these guys have been out, Achua has been great for the Kings.
Well, he's the reason why they won the other night.
That's right. And I think he's $1.30 to score 15 points tonight. And each team giving up 122 points on average going back as well. So I think it'll be a high-scoring affair in that late game.
I noticed this. The Pelicans versus conference opponents, 31-16 ATS this year. That's 66%. 7-0 ATS as favorites, courtesy of Bet Lab Sports. Good numbers there overall.
Yep. I think you have to take the Sixers now too, because number one, if you're Minnesota, you're not afraid of the Lakers, and you beat them last year, even though you're 0-3 against the Lakers this year. But with Luka getting hurt and probably out for the rest of the regular season, maybe you want to get the 6th seed now. You certainly don't fear Denver and match up well against them too. So Ant had the flu, tough loss last night, back-to-back, and now Embiid upgraded.
Yep.
He's now upgraded, so he might play, and it's up to 4 at home against Minnesota.
I love this. Earlier today, the Sixers were 2, and when you hear somebody is doubtful, I'm thinking, okay, doubtful is way worse than questionable. Doubtful means he's not going to play. Nope, here you go. Embiid's now probable in the game, and hence the point spread movement. And Edwards did not play last night, and he's questionable again tonight. I know some people thought he was going to play in the game last night, didn't, so maybe he gets it through tonight and plays. But by the way, that game closed 5.5 last night, Pistons.
Oh, ridiculous.
How that finished.
Yeah.
And the T-Wolves actually got the money. That was ludicrous overall. How about the Raptors tonight? I was talking to Doug Kazarian today off the air. Would you want to go early on in this game?
First quarter, you mean?
That was an inexplicable loss their last time out.
Could be a killer.
First quarter, first half.
Probably going to be in the play-in now. Yep. I think they respond. Joe Osborne was making the case they blow them out. He laid the points.
Yeah, okay.
And Memphis has been so bad going back, and especially defensively. So
I might tail that idea early on.
Yep. And Atlanta can put the magic number down to 2 to win the division. And your Hornets should win. Nice win last night. Again, the Suns locked into the 7. Why would they care? Charlotte ran them out. So still, Charlotte, you can get this 7 seed. You can do this. And it would certainly help your tickets with the play-in. And a big difference between the 7 and 8, and certainly a huge difference between the 8 and 9 as well. So I would put first half, first quarter. You would think Toronto comes out after getting humiliated as well, and they're not going to get any resistance from Memphis.
Yeah, officially here, some of the players who are not playing tonight.
Well, sorry, the other thing, it's look at these point spreads. It's road teams, too. You're laying 16 on the road, 15.5 on the road. I mean, it's nuts.
I know. Nembhard, Neesmith, Walker, Furphy out for the Pacers. Siakam's probable in that game. For the Hawks-Nets game on Brooklyn side, Porter and Sharp are out. Claxton, Clowney probable. Bulls at Knicks. Zach Collins is out. Giddey, Trey Jones, questionable last look. Yabusele is probable in the game. And for the Bucks tonight, Giannis, Porter, and Portis are out against the Celtics. I mean, if the Celtics wanted to, they could win the game by 60 points tonight. And I'm not even exact. They could win this game like 145-85. But what's the incentive to do that? I guess in that game, if you want to look at, and you could do this with a lot of the teams tonight, I would look at Kobe White props for the Hornets, who has been phenomenal off the bench and goes bombs away from downtown. I'd look at a guy like him, and I'd look at some of the fringe players from the Celtics as well, who would be playing in this game. And you can do that with basically every single team, right? Because you figure blowouts are certainly possible, and then guys are going to get some run out there, and they're going to have a green light when they're up by 30, and let's dance.
Tomorrow's a fun day. 4 college basketball games, and also to wet the beak at noon Pacific on Amazon, Spurs Nuggets. San Antonio was 2.5 on the road, 243 the total.
How impressive was that last night?
That was impressive. They shut down the Clippers.
They crushed them
without Wemby, and they're playing with a ton of confidence right now. And I would back them tomorrow. Now they lost the last meeting, but Wemby didn't play,
right? And
they blew a huge lead in that game. But also he's still on this mission, and I would look at his props tomorrow, and certainly look at the Spurs laying 2.5 on the road as well.
So Wemby can miss how many more games?
I think I saw conflict. I think it's 2.
Yeah.
Some guy tweeted 1. I think it's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But
I think
maybe if it's 1, if you can check it out, Corey, if it's 1, maybe you take a flyer on Holmgren, defensive player of the year.
That's exactly what Zach Cohen was talking about today on Hardwood Handicappers podcast here at VSiN.
Anything can happen.
I think he can only miss 1 more game.
Okay.
Is what it is. So he misses 2.
Yeah.
Because if they're locked into the 2 seed, and if they can't catch Oklahoma City for the 1, although this guy wants to play, but last night was big.
I can't imagine they do it to him. You got to give him the least defensive
player of the year. That's kind of what I think as well.
Yeah. I thought Windhorst made an excellent point. Some people mocked him. He was making the case defensive, MVP, and most improved. Give him all 3. The big step that he's taken this year and to dominate. And this might be the best point. What's going to happen playoff time when he plays a lot? Remember, LeBron's played more minutes than this guy.
Well,
what's going to happen? Well, is he going to average 40 and 16 every game when he has to play every game, every minute?
Here's how you can exploit that from a betting perspective. I'm guessing that his props are going to be similar to his regular season numbers.
That's right, and that'd be a mistake.
So let's not scream that one too loud from the mountaintops.
Got that. Yeah, sure. That's excellent. That's a good point that he made. I like that.
I just give me Spurs Thunder Western Conference Finals. I'll sign up for that every single time.
Yep. Well, that certainly appears where we're headed after that debacle last night, too. Juice Reel just dropped an update that makes it impossible for cappers lying about their record. Connect your books directly into Juice Reel and get in-depth analytics on your own betting and access to what the best bettors on the platform have their money on. If you're the sharp and others follow you, you get paid for helping the community win. Tail proven winners on Juice Reel. REEL. Get it now, Juice Reel.
Greg Hoops Peterson on the program next. We'll get his breakdowns of what should be a terrific Final Four coming up on Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
More hardcore college basketball here. We go out to the Progressive guest line. Greg Hoops Peterson joins the program now. He is the host of the Coast to Coast Hoops podcast here at VSiN, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Hoops, good to talk to you, man. This must be one of your favorite weekends of the entire year.
Oh, it's a great weekend because we've got ourselves such big college basketball games, and it's a changing of the seasons for me because when college basketball ends, baseball begins, so the cycle of life continues, so we get in some great action this weekend, and don't forget about the Crown and the NIT, some money to be made in those games as well.
We'll talk to you about those games, but let's begin with the heavyweight bout tomorrow. At least that's what everybody thinks between Michigan and Arizona. Michigan is slight favorite here. Total upper 150s now in this spot being played in Indianapolis at the Lucas Oil Stadium. Overall, your breakdown on this game and who do you like?
Yep, and for me, this is a de facto title game. These are the top 2 teams remaining in the field. Whoever wins this game is going to be the favorite against either Illinois or UConn. I would say by probably I was thinking about 5 or so points, whoever wins this game, but I did make Arizona the slight favorite. Now, if you look at the absolute best of the best from both of these teams, I think that Michigan's best might be a hair better than Arizona's best, but I feel like Arizona's been the more consistent team all season long. For Arizona, I just feel like they've got a few different ways to be able to beat you. They're not a team that launches a bunch of threes, but when you need someone like a Jaden Bradley, Anthony Del Rosso to be able to hit a three, they're able to do so. And I think that the turnover battle is going to be big. Michigan, the one thing that they really don't do on defense is generate turnovers. 287th in the country in terms of turnovers on a per possession basis generated. And then on the offensive side of things, Arizona is a top 50 team in terms of fewest turnovers per offensive play, while Michigan is outside the top 150 there. I think that the amount of clean possessions that you're going to get in favor of Arizona is going to be just enough for them to get the job done. Recognize that Michigan might have a little bit more experience, as Arizona does have a few freshmen on the team, but I've been thoroughly impressed by the way that Arizona really hasn't had any stumbles in the road, hasn't had any hiccups, and I think that they find a way to get the job done. I took Arizona here on the money line.
All right, I want your thoughts on the first game, and I know you have all the numbers, but do you go against Hurley, 17-1 ATS in the tournament? They don't get to the free throw line. Illinois doesn't give up free throws defensively. They've been so good in the tournament, shutting down VCU and Iowa. And Houston in their backyard. What do you think of the first game?
Yep, this is going to be a fun one, and I mean, I just can't go against Stan Hurley. I took UConn here on the money line, mainly because with Illinois, they do such a good job in terms of not allowing you to get to the free throw line, but they also don't generate turnovers. There are 365 Division I teams, and they are 365th in terms of turnovers generated, both on a per possession and a per game basis. With UConn, they should be able to have Silas Demery be a little bit healthier in this game as well. He's dealt with ailment throughout the NCAA tournament, actually missed that first round game against Furman, was limited in the last few rounds. Getting 7 days of rest for him, I think, is going to be able to do him some good, as he's a leader in assists with about 6 assists per contest. And for Illinois, they are the taller team in this game with the Avicic brothers, David Mirkovic, but Terrace Reed rebounded Furman all by himself in that first round of the NCAA tournament. Alex Caravan was on those two title teams of Dan Hurley, and with this UConn team, Braylon Mullins, who hit that big shot for them against Duke to be able to send them here to the Final Four, he's really been able to come alive for this team as well. With UConn, I just feel like they're a little bit more of a complete team here, and I think that they've got the coaching edge. So I went with UConn on the money line. These are two really slow teams as well, both outside the top 290 in terms of total possessions per game. And additionally, with Illinois, they take about 49.8% of their field goals from three. That is 15th in the country. With this being played in a football stadium, sightlines are going to be a little bit off. That hurts a jump shooting team. So roll with UConn on the money line and the under.
All right. Well, the day gets started tomorrow with the Crown. We were talking about it earlier today with Bob McKillop, who is the longtime coach, was a longtime coach at Davidson. And we'll go 10:30 Pacific time out at T-Mobile Arena on the Strip. Oklahoma is a 1.5-point favorite over Baylor. And look at the total now, hovering around 158. Who do you like here?
I do like that over. You've got two teams that have not played any defense whatsoever. Oklahoma and Baylor both outside the top 230 in terms of points allowed on a per possession basis, but I do lean to the Oklahoma side here. I just felt like they were the better team during the regular season, and they really didn't have anyone opt out. Nigel Pack is a guy that played in a Final Four for Miami a few seasons ago. You were able to pair him up with Xavier Brown, a pair of guys that average about 32 or so points per contest. With Baylor, they very much rely upon second chances. 17th in the country in terms of offensive rebound percentage, grabbing 35% of their misses as an offensive rebound. But Oklahoma's actually been okay with their interior defense. They're a top 55 team in terms of opponents' 2-point shooting percentage away from them. Really wouldn't want to go much past one, but right now I'm seeing this line right around 1.5 with Oklahoma laying it. I'm going to be willing to lay the number, and anything below 159, I do like to the over.
All right. How about West Virginia and Creighton? Pick them in some spots, 134.5.
Yep, seeing a pick 'em, seeing some places with West Virginia being the 1-point favorite, and I feel like Creighton should be a slight favorite. This is much akin to those that do college football bowl season, where you want to be gauging motivation when it comes to these smaller tournaments. And for Creighton, Greg McDermott, he is going to be riding off into the sunset after this tournament. You have to feel like Creighton is going to want to try to send him out a winner. I think that that's big for them. Now, West Virginia has plenty of motivation as well. Ross Hodge is in his first season. You know that he would love to be able to just build a little bit of a winning culture, be able to go into the offseason with some momentum. But I feel like the motivational factor helps out Creighton. And for West Virginia, I just can't trust them late in the game. They're outside the top 315 with their free throw shooting percentage at 68.4%. Creighton is a top 50 team at over 76%. And I've noticed this with West Virginia. Defense really takes a dive away from home. They allow 18.9 points more per 100 possessions away from home rather than at home. So with this total of 134.5, do like the over. And with Creighton, whether that be as a pick'em / a very, very slim underdog, taking them on the money line.
All right. How about Tuesday night now? NIT championship. Actually, my dates are wrong here. This is on Sunday. Yeah, Tulsa takes on Auburn, and the Tigers are laying 4.5. Total is 160.5. Do you have a strong opinion on this game, Greg?
By the way, very strange how they did the NIT this year, because typically they would go Tuesday and Thursday. Now we get this on Sunday, which we were going to have no games anyway, so I'm not necessarily opposed to it. But that said, I did set my number here at 5. I'm seeing some 4.5s. I'm seeing more 5.5s. If you put me between the 4.5 and the 5.5, I would take the 5.5. With Tulsa, Auburn has covered just 3 out of their last 16 games. They have really not been great against the spread. And for Tulsa, they're a team that's built around 3-point shooting. They were as ice cold as it gets to begin that game against New Mexico. Both teams had themselves a relatively rough shooting night. They found a way to be able to get the job done, and Auburn has just been ghastly on defense all season long. Entered into yesterday 294th in the country in terms of points allowed on a per possession basis. Tulsa's okay on the defensive glass as well. Someone like an Ian Schmeichel, even though he doesn't give you a lot of scoring, he does an okay job on the glass. And how about the job that Eric Conkle has been able to do? For Tulsa, I believe that they had won 33 or 34 games in their first 3 seasons under Conkle. They have gotten to 30 wins this far this season. I feel like they're going to want to try to go out with a high note. I don't know if they win this game outright, but anything above 5, I'm willing to take the points here with Tulsa.
All right, follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Greg Hoops Peterson, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. You mentioned transitioning from college basketball into Major League Baseball. It was busy today with day baseball, but we still have, I think, at least 5 games to go yet tonight. And you do the write-ups every single day at VSiN.com. Do you have a bet or two that you still like coming up tonight?
Yep, absolutely. I am in on the Oakland A's, or I should say the Sacramento A's now, on the money line with Jeffrey Springs going. He had a little bit of an up and down season with the A's, and keep in mind, that ballpark was giving up runs upon runs last season. And Christian Javier for the Houston Astros, he's just been banged up the last few seasons. When he was on the road last year, he was posting up a 7.11 ERA. Now that the total is up to 10, I think that you might be going a little bit too high for the over. I think that ball's going to be flying out a little bit more in May and June, and that's when you're really going to be getting these slugfests. But I also do think that with this being season number 2 for the Athletics out there in Sacramento, that they are going to have a little bit more of a home field advantage than they had a season ago. You can tell that there just really wasn't much of that here in year number 1. Now with a year under their belt, playing in this ballpark, I think guys are going to be a little bit more used to it. And the guys that are going to be coming in from out of town, they're not going to be as used to it. So I do think that the Athletics, after a rough 1-5 start to begin the season, they bounce back here against an Astros team that, to their credit, they've won 5 straight games, but they're dealing with a lot of injuries in the back half of that bullpen as well. Josh Hader is out. I believe Bennett Sosa is as well. So I took the A's here on a rather pick and price on the money line.
All right. Very good, G-Unit. Thanks for the time as always. Great breakdowns. Best of luck tonight, this weekend, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Always appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Greg Peterson, Progressive Guest Line, and he does, again, his write-ups every day, Monday through Friday at least, throughout the college basketball and the Major League Baseball seasons. Yeah. Likes Arizona. Have you heard more people make the case for Arizona or Michigan? I've heard more people make the case for Michigan.
Yep. A lot of people don't know what to do with the first game.
I've definitely heard more people make the case for UConn in that game.
Yeah. Another one? Another one?
Yeah, all day. Come on.
All right. Follow the money, brought to you by Profit X. If you're not on Profit X, Masters Week, perfect time to start. New users get a sign-up bonus up to $100 in bonus cash just for getting started. Promo code VSiNMM. They're dropping the Masters of your domain contest. During the Masters, make one play of $50 or more on any market, win or lose. You get an entry to win a $1,000 golf prize of your choice, a round of golf, a club of your choice, or the gift card to any golf apparel brand. You're still in the running, win or lose on your play. Code VSiNMM. Download Profit X today. Code VSiNMM.
MLB next. High number for a K prop, but some projections have him reaching double digits 30% of the time.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I know I teased baseball coming up, which we will get to for the night games, but I believe this qualifies as some breaking news. Please tell me this is not true. Is it a late April Fool's joke, Pauly?
No, because it's Ross Dellinger from Yahoo, and he's money. Not only are they going to expand March Madness, they're going to 76 teams.
So 8 more, and that means that Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be filled with games, right?
One of the biggest pieces to all of this is added TV revenue from additional games. 8 games would be added to the current first 4 played over Tuesday and Wednesday. That means 24 teams playing in 12 games over the 2 days at 2 sites, Dayton at to be determined.
12 teams, 2 sites. So that's 3 games at each site.
Humans was making the case we should get some games out here.
Play them in Las Vegas and Dayton?
How did they get this aggressive?
Fran Fraschilla was all over this, I think, a couple of years ago. This is exactly what he said.
He didn't go this high, though.
No, I think he said 70. It was between
72, I thought.
And he by the way, he prefaced it by saying, look, this is not me telling you
right.
It's what I would do or what I want. But read the tea leaves here, folks. This is what's going to happen. And I think he nailed it to a T pretty much.
They're going to do this as soon after the completion of this year's tournament. Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports.
It's going to be announced as soon as the tournament's over with. And do we start next year? Does he have that?
The 12 winners of the opening round games advance to an awaiting 52 teams in the original bracket. 8 teams are extracted from the main bracket, plus the 8 new at-large selections from expansion. Leaders at the Big 12 and ACC and others have pushed for the expansion of the tournament. An unsaid reason for expansion, paving the way for more access for Power League programs that control the future of the event.
Oh, tremendous.
How many advantages do you need? This is like DiCaprio going on The Bachelor. You know, it's hard for me to meet a woman, I got to tell you guys. Can you help me out? Can I go on? Can I meet some gal?
It's actually like him going to the Rhino.
I mean,
there's no point. I mean, my God.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Clean the place out.
I mean, you get every advantage. You get all the bids. Maybe, just maybe, a Santa Clara gets an at-large, and that league has got 3 teams twice in the last 14 years. There's no Cinderella, and now it's like, sorry, no, it's like Sankey last year.
Need more SEC teams.
Yeah, complaining. He wanted half the bracket last year in the college football playoff to be SEC. And then he got pissed off 2 years ago because Alabama didn't get in. And they got 5, he wanted 6. It's like, what is your problem?
Right. Think about the teams that are going to be getting in.
Oh, God.
We're talking about 16 and 16 overall and 4 and 14 in conference play? 5 and 13 in conference play? And 5, I mean, are teams going to get in below 500 if they have the right metrics? Paul, they're not going to expand for the little guy, which is just disgusting. Again, that's what the tournament is all about.
Oh, man, you are going to see some doozies.
Oh,
hello, 6 and 12 in conference, and I mean, oh boy.
By the way, like, remember when the bubble used to be something, and it was a big deal and a huge talking point for like weeks. That was back when RPI mattered quite a bit. Are they going to get in? Are they not going to get in? Like, they have a great resume compare. We haven't had a good bubble in several years. The bubble sucks. And now you're going to make it 8 more teams? Well, I mean...
We'll have 6 games a day.
Oh, 6 games a day.
Well, 12 games over 2 days.
12 games over 2 days, 6 games a day, so that they can...
And whatever the other side. He doesn't say if it would start next year.
Well, what's the point of waiting?
Yeah.
Get it going immediately if you're going to expand. There's no holding off for this. I mean, what's the point, right? So 6 games each day, that means that they can play them... Well, now they can dominate both those days, though, on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Games all day.
To begin the tournament, and you could go... Because the time frame now, they start at, 6:30 Eastern, and then the game follows that.
I wanted one more. I thought 3's a good number, right? You can start with the little guys like your Howard and whoever.
Yeah, those are good games, by the way.
Yeah,
they have been.
And you can go Texas, NC State, and then whatever your other game would be then, too. Humans would say 2 in Dayton and close it out here. That was always his plan. But now, and then you're taking teams from the bracket. I don't know what this is going to look like.
Well, will they start them in the morning on Tuesday, Wednesday as well?
Well, you're going to have to.
Well, unless they play 2 at a time. Could they start
Well,
at like, I'm trying to think, 3 o'clock Eastern and stagger them so they go like 3, 3:30, and then you come back like at 6, 6:30, and then you have 2 night games, and then you do that both days? Like, is that better than going 6 games in a row? I don't think you can go 6 games in a row. There's not enough time. So maybe if you go like 3 different windows of 2 games at the same time, that would be a possibility. But holy smokes, man, that's
the proposal at
the women's tournament too.
Yeah, women too.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Man, you needed that.
UConn's laying 65 in these games.
The proposal will add 8 games to the first 4, 24 teams playing in an opening round before advancing into the May bracket. It's like the tanking thing. You don't have to make it more complicated. It's an easy fix. And it's oh man.
Here, I'm gonna go to Bracket Matrix right now, and I'll give you the teams that would have been on the outside looking in this year.
Auburn, New Mexico would have got in. San Diego State,
Oklahoma,
maybe, yes, no doubt.
New
Oklahoma.
Mexico, Indiana would have gotten in. Stanford would have gotten in. And then I have to go.
Yeah.
I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to go 6 teams before I get to Belmont, the true little guy. And they're the only. Wichita is like way below them. Those are basically the only 2 teams. Tulsa, I guess, out of the American as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's peppered with Big 12, ACC, Big 10, SEC.
I wasn't the only guy to say it, but I did say Texas going to the Sweet 16 was bad news. See, told you we belong. Put these teams in that are 6 and 12 in conference.
And here's another one, Pauly. Well, you don't even need it anymore, but if Auburn wins the NIT championship, should have been in, made a mistake. How were they not? Look how good they are.
Well, they're just what? Yeah. So SMU, big deal. I don't know, but that's Miami won a game. But that, boy.
Okay. Well, here's the positive.
This is the one thing we had, though, right? This is the one thing that we all agreed on.
All agreed
Just
on.
don't touch the tournament. Just leave it as it is, and you keep adding because we got to get as many. 14, 15 bids from one conference.
That's going to happen.
It's another thing.
And you're going to be 10 games below 500 in league play. You're going to be 500 on the year. So that's okay. We don't need this. But the positive spin is Tuesday and Wednesday, starting potentially next year, could be pretty damn awesome. To add that other layer.
Yeah,
it's unnecessary, but I mean, to embrace it, more games. Hey, look, you want NFL on Thanksgiving Eve.
That's a whole different argument. That's different. These are trash teams. They don't belong in. The NFL is, it's once a week, and this is, you're playing 35 games, and if you can't win, my God, teams under 500 can get in.
Well,
but from a betting
I'll be Mr. Positive here then, because once they actually get here, I'll enjoy watching the games and probably bet on them.
Call Humans. I want to see what he thinks. See what Humans thinks. I want to get him on.
He might be on his way over to Circa right now. Might pop in a little early.
Yep, because his idea was always 2 in Dayton, 1 out here.
Well, now you could go
back to back, but now you see what this other site's going to be. But then you're blowing right by that.
You could play 3 in Dayton and 3 in Vegas on Tuesday, and then run it right back and do 3 in each spot on Wednesday. Is what you could do.
So you also have to give the Pac-12 gets an automatic bid. We have a new conference.
Yeah.
The WAC goes away, but that becomes a new league. Do they get an automatic bid?
One would think.
They'll bring in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let me get to this real quick. The bet is tonight. It's Mariners at the Angels. Brian Wu goes for Seattle. So good last year. Great in his first start. 2.93 ERA, 9.5 Ks per 9 for the full year. Goes against an Angels team that can strike out quite a bit. I looked at Ballpark Pal today and Opta AI stats at VSiN.com. Opta AI, not super high on him. Ballpark Pal is projecting 8.2 Ks out of him tonight. And per their numbers, he strikes out 10 plus 30% of the time, 9 plus 14% of the time, and 8 plus 15% of the time. So I'll take that, roll it into one, and I'll take the plus 120 and over 7.5 Ks for Brian Wu. It's a big number. I don't like playing, I should say, those big numbers with K props, but I'll do it tonight at the plus money with the Ballpark Pal projection as my guide.
First response, hard pass, perfect at 68. Waters down the field. More bubble teams get blown out early. Turns the best week in the sports into a slog.
I don't disagree with any
Leave
of
it
that.
alone. It's been a huge success.
Mm-hmm.
24 teams playing to get in. This is horrible. This is good. Every sports league in the world. How can we make our product worse? I mean, it's just...
Yeah, pretty much.
What?
That sums it up right there.
Like, yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. The last straw poll in the MVP race was out in the NBA. Based on its accuracy over the years, the race is over, as is Rookie of the Year. Details coming up next.